Wednesday night, FX aired the season premiere of American Horror Story Season 3, Coven. If you're new to my videos, welcome, and if you're a returning viewer, welcome back. Let me start out by saying that if you have not seen Season 1 and 2 of American Horror Story, then you have nothing to worry about. You haven't missed any plot points, thanks to the anthology style of storytelling the story uses. However, I would recommend going back and watching the two previous seasons because they are excellent. But without further interruption, let's start the review. Quick episode recap. Madame LaLaurie indulged in her fondness for Greek mythology.
The Minotaur was always my favorite.
Young Zoe Benson discovered her true lineage.
Apparently I'm a witch. Runs in my family.
Myrtle Snow whisked Zoe away to Miss Robichaux's Academy for Exceptional Young Ladies.
She's our daughter now, Nora. You've done all you can.
Headmistress Cordelia Fox and the other girls had welcomed Zoe in their own ways.
O Dark Father, we offer this flesh up to you, blood, life, and all.
The Supreme, Fiona Good, began expanding her search for immortality.
I want that drug, David, and I want it now.
Madison and Zoe went to a frat party and things did not go well. Fiona took the girls on a field trip.
When witches don't fight, we burn.
This is seriously the worst field trip ever.
Marie Laveau put an end to Madame LaLaurie's savagery.
The potion inflicted its cruel justice, and she got what she richly deserved.
Zoe used her power to take revenge on the frat boy.
My mother was right. The world isn't safe for a girl like me.
And Fiona dug up someone to help her live forever.
Come on, Mary Todd Lincoln.
I'll buy you a drink.
When you have a heavy hitter like Kathy Bates in the cast, you lead with her, and what a lead it was. With a season premiere like this one, you don't get a lot of time to establish your key players, so I can appreciate them wasting no time in showing us just how depraved Madame LaLaurie is when it comes to remaining young and beautiful. You really don't get any clearer than a character painting fresh blood on their face. The casual and cavalier way Madame LaLaurie treats the people locked in her attic tells way more than a splash of red on her face. The Madame is selfish, cruel woman. There's no doubt there. But in crafting such abhorrent tortures to inflict on her captives, she passes from the realm of cruelty to sadism and sociopathy.
Where's my pickaninny with the head?
I know a lot of people look at Kathy Bates and see Annie Wilkes from Stephen King's Misery, but where she was frightening because of her instability, Madame LaLaurie is frightening because she's in complete mental and emotional control of what she does. With the Madame, it's not about when she will snap, it's about when she will begin to execute her next move.
Half man, half bull. And now, I have one of my very own.
Zoe Benson, on the other hand, is quite innocent when the episode begins. She's just out to have sex with her boyfriend until out of nowhere he begins bleeding from the eyes. Apparently Zoe has never seen Coach Carr's sex ed speech from Mean Girls or watched the first season of Downton Abbey, because then she would have realized that sex always results in someone's death. Tayshia Farmiga is good at what she does, and what she does is play teenage girls. I'm not really a big fan of the teenage girl characters, but unfortunately for me, they make up almost half the cast. Despite my preferences, I found Zoe a good companion as she and the audience is introduced to the world of witches. It was good to have someone grounded in the real world to relate to, especially once Frances Conroy and the Albino Squad show up to take Zoe to New Orleans.
A long fire would only make things worse.
Once she is dropped off at Miss Robichaux's Academy for Exceptional Young Ladies, Zoe is stalked and frightened by the Academy's current residents. Madison Montgomery, the telekinetic, Nan, the clairvoyant, and Queenie, the human voodoo doll. Reflecting on the scene, I can understand why it was included, even though I didn't like it. The school is a shadow of its former self. The once proud Coven has dwindled to 3 teenage girls and a headmistress who can't command their respect. The house may be immaculate in its upkeep, but behind the polished exterior is a sort of hollowness. It's sad, especially considering the proud history that we hear from Sarah Paulson's character.
In its heyday, the Academy was home to as many as 60 girls. Over the years, those numbers dwindled.
Headmistress Fox is the first to bring up the concept of the Supreme, the one witch in a generation possessing every power that a witch could have. She also elaborates on why there are so few young witches in the Academy, citing the tale of Misty Day, the young witch who possessed the power of resurgence and was burned for it. The character Misty Day is played by Lily Rabe, who is a returning cast member from the first 2 seasons, and I was really disappointed to see her burned within minutes of being introduced, because that woman is amazingly adept at playing creepy characters. From Cordelia's cautionary tale, we transition to Jessica Lange's character, the Supreme, Fiona Good. Fiona is on a quest for immortality and has been throwing money at stem cell research in a bid to use science instead of magic. I found it strange that the Supreme would resort to non-magic in order to live forever, but it's obvious that if her magic doesn't do the trick, she'd go to the next best thing. Unfortunately for her, science doesn't prove effective, and we get a nice showcase of Fiona's different abilities, all set to Iron Butterfly's In-A-Gadda-Da-Vida. I'm a big fan of using music to punctuate a scene, and the heavy riff from Iron Butterfly gave this sequence a really nice sense of foreboding and malice as Fiona sucked the life from the scientist. It will be interesting to see how Fiona's obsession with rejuvenation directs her actions throughout the season. Back at the Academy, Cordelia is mixing up something in her alchemy lab when she's interrupted by Fiona.
Ooh, you dropped your cocktail.
We learn here that Fiona is Cordelia's mother, and she is not happy with the way her daughter has been running things. I like the tension between the two of them. Lang and Paulson spent a lot of time during Season 2, Asylum, squaring off against each other, and I'm glad that they kept the two of them in roles where they have the opportunity to argue. It will be especially interesting to see how the girls react to the two authority figures with such drastically opposed viewpoints concerning power and its use. Evan Peters is introduced in the next scene as Kyle Spencer, giving his fellow frat brothers a pep talk before unleashing them on a party. Madison and Zoe show up and are quickly separated. Zoe wandered over to an ice sculpture and had a Romeo and Juliet moment with Kyle. This isn't the first time Peters and Farmiga have played opposite each other in a romantic pair. Back in Season 1, the two of them shared a very strange relationship, but even though it didn't work out for those characters, the two actors have a young love type of chemistry between them that comes off not only as genuine, but also believable. Despite all of that, Zoe puts the kibosh on any potential hooking up, but does admit that she likes Kyle. Elsewhere in the party, Madison mouths off to the wrong guy, and she ends up being drugged and raped by pretty much all of Kyle's frat brothers. The scene where Madison is raped felt a lot longer than it actually was, and it was really uncomfortable to watch. Madison may be an unsympathetic character, but having her raped to bring her down a peg was not the right move in my opinion. Whether it's a character in a show or a person in real life, rape is never something that is an appropriate punishment or appropriate at all. It's possible that the rape was used to put the audience on Madison's side when she kills the frat boys, but with the sorts of characters that they were made out to be, I don't think they needed something so severe to turn public opinion away from siding with the frat. Despite my opinions, it's something that happened, and will undoubtedly play a big role in the coming episodes as Madison develops as a character. The next morning, Fiona finds the girls in the kitchen, and after exerting her dominance in the house, informs them that they are going to take a field trip and should dress accordingly.
Wear something black.
I noticed in this segment that Fiona was planning on taking the girls to an old Coven den that sounded pretty interesting. So far in the episode we learned a lot about the Academy's history, but now there's other houses in New Orleans that could play a part in the future. That's pretty significant. However, the trip is interrupted by Nan wandering into the old LaLaurie house. The detour proves important as we learn about Marie Laveau and how she took revenge on Madame LaLaurie for mutilating her lover. Now, Marie Laveau was paid by Angela Bassett and can be seen in a lot of promotional material for the show, which tells me that Laveau, the voodoo queen of New Orleans, isn't going to be restricted to flashbacks, especially considering that the potion she gave to Madame LaLaurie kept her alive even though she was buried for over 100 years. At the end of the episode, we got an interesting scene between Zoe and one of the surviving frat boys. There were two that survived the crash, and unfortunately for Zoe, Kyle was not one of them. Zoe takes interest in one of the survivors, though, because he is the one that drugged Madison in the first place. I was hoping at the start of this scene that Zoe would discover a way to use her power without having to go full Black Widow on this guy, but unfortunately she didn't. What I did find good about this scene was the initiative that Zoe took in killing the frat boy. Over the course of the episode, Zoe was wandering in a fog of new information, but by the end she found herself in a situation to act, and she made an informed decision. I'm not going to argue the morality of what she did. I'm just saying that as a person, she took control and acted on her own without being dragged here or being told to follow an order. It's a step towards a strong, independent Zoe, and I hope that we'll see that emerge more over the course of the season. The episode ended with Fiona bewitching 2 workers into digging up Madame LaLaurie's body at the old house. I'm glad to see Kathy Bates as part of the present-day cast. I would have been disappointed if she only featured in the flashbacks. Let's throw out some predictions for what's coming later in the season. First and foremost, I think Cordelia and Fiona are going to try to kill one another. Right now, they're feuding and taking jabs at each other, but I think that's going to get to a boiling point, and one of them will not survive the season. Next up, I think Marie Laveau is still alive and will declare war on the Coven for releasing Madame LaLaurie from her coffin. The Minotaur from the 1800s flashback is probably going to factor into the present-day story, most likely on the side of the voodoo. The albino squad that accompany Myrtle Snow will be revealed to be undead somehow. Maybe zombies, maybe just thralls, but undead nonetheless. I think Queenie is also going to be swayed to join Marie Laveau because of her power to hurt people. I think Misty Day will become a bigger part of the show, maybe even joining the girls in the house, mostly because of her ability to call things back from the dead. Zoe is going to learn how to use her power without using her vagina. And finally, I think we'll see members of the council coming to intervene when things start getting crazy in the witches versus voodoo conflict. The season premiere had a lot of territory to cover, and I think that while it may not have been smooth sailing the whole way, it did a pretty good job. It's not the best season opener that American Horror Story has done, but it's got a lot of high concepts that it needs to establish before it can get into the nitty-gritty that it has planned. More than anything, I'm interested in seeing what happens to the characters this season. More so than the setting or the time period, American Horror Story is about the characters, and I'm looking forward to see what they do with their powers and how they interact with each other. Whatever does happen, I know I'll be here to talk about it week after week. As always, please comment below to keep the conversation going, subscribe to my channel for more of these weekly reviews of American Horror Story Coven, and follow me on Twitter to see what I have to say during each episode. So until next week, I'm Rick D, and thank you for watching.